Hi, my name is David Rippey, and I'm a certified hypnotherapist, helping clients explore a variety of things from past lives, life between lives, and any pain issues they may be experiencing. This female client came to me for a past life regression. After bringing them into a subconscious state, they began sharing an incredible previous life, where they were a nanny in 1876 and described many things from that era. Things that included monthly wages, rent costs, and how it was only 6 cents for a trolley ride. She also described how a ghost was around her in that life who had perished in a fire in the tenant house where she'd lived. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel at David Rippey. There'll be more recordings to follow. Enjoy. And as we're floating along, in our mind's eye, we feel our pineal gland opening more, revealing to us the times that have got long gone, previous lives that meant something to us and mean something to us now in this life. As we're floating along, so relaxed, counting down from 5 to 4, down to 3, sinking deeper and deeper, feeling this bubble just take us in and carry us where it wants to. As we count down to 2, floating along this beautiful sea of flowers. As we count down to 1, and as we continue to float along, we start to feel images come into our mind of another time, another life. So as we float along and just let everything happen to us that we see, we can start to begin to visualize something. Perhaps a location or a house, or something different. But we see ourselves somewhere as we're floating along in our minds. We begin to see perhaps somebody that doesn't look like us, but we just know it is. As we're floating along in our mind's eye. And can you tell me, do you see anything? We're not sleeping, we're wide awake. So think about it for a minute and tell me what you see or what you hear or smell.
Burning wood.
Do you see what again?
Smells like burning wood.
Okay. Does it smell like a fireplace or?
Oh, it's outside.
So it's burning.
It's
wood?
burning outside.
It's burning outside. Okay. Is it a controlled fire, or does it smell like it's in the distance?
It's far away, but not that far.
Okay. Are there woods around you?
No.
Okay. But you can smell it. Do you see where you are?
On the street.
Okay, you're on the street and you smell burning wood. Is it a houses on the street or a city, or what does it look like?
I see a man.
Okay.
I opened the door. A man with a burned face was standing there.
Okay. So he was burned by the fire.
I think the building caught on fire. I don't think he got out.
But he somehow made it to your door.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you in your house or somewhere else?
I think I'm in the house.
Okay. Was he coming to your door maybe for help?
I think so.
Okay. Or his clothes burnt too?
Yeah. They were covered in soot.
Does he look like he's in a lot of pain?
No. I think he's a ghost.
So he doesn't appear to have a solid body.
No, he does, but he doesn't look real.
Okay. Is he talking to you with words or is he talking to you with his mind?
He's not talking. I opened the door and he was there,
Just
but
standing there.
he wasn't there a minute ago.
Okay. And what are you wearing? What do you think you're wearing?
I can't see myself.
Okay. But you can see his house or your house.
I'm just in a hallway.
Okay. Now is the man still standing there?
Yeah.
Did he tell you what he wants?
No, he said this is my room.
Okay. So do you think he might have lived there before you were there?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it's a boarding house.
Okay. Do any names of locations or is it in the U.S. or overseas?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Do you know your name?
Liza?
Liza?
Yeah.
That's a pretty name. What does it appear when you look around? If you turn around and look at the boarding house, does it look old inside, or what time period do you think it is?
It's old. It's in the 1900s.
Okay.
19. I can't tell.
Okay.
16, 19, 17.
Okay. Now, do you think he was burned, the one that lived there? Do you think he was burned in a fire? Or do you think maybe it could have been a war or something?
He's not in a uniform. I think it was a fire in the house.
Fire in the house, okay.
I think he fell asleep with his pipe burning.
Okay.
I think that's how it happened. That's how he burned his face.
Got it. Okay. Do you see, or do you ask him? Can you ask him where is this house located, or boarding house? See what he says.
He says Cambridge.
Okay. And does he have a name of the house or a street?
I think it's Cad's CAD Cadbury Cadbury Street.
Okay. And was it in Cambridge, Boston?
Yes, Massachusetts.
Okay. So Cadbury Street, And he tells you, or you feel, it's around 1916.
Yeah.
Roughly. Okay. Now, do you know your name is Liza?
Yes.
Do you know your last name?
It starts with TH.
Okay, is it 2 syllables, you think? Or?
Thornston, Thurston, Toss.
Just let it come and see if you see it in your mind.
Thompson.
Okay. And you feel it was on Cadbury Street.
Yes, Cadbury Street.
Does Cadbury sound right? Okay. Now, since you were there and the ghost man was there, do you have a number of that street? What number pops in your mind for your street address?
I can't see the number.
Okay, that's fine. If you walk outside, can you walk outside for me?
It's cold.
It's cold out? So it's around winter time, you think?
No, it's not, but it's cold.
Okay. So it's cold as heck out and the wind's blowing a little bit.
It's windy.
Okay. I don't want you to go too far outside, but do you remember, is the number of the house on the house, like in the front, or just way out on the mailbox somewhere?
33. Number 33.
So you feel pretty good that it's 33 because you turned around and looked, right?
I saw the number on the house.
Okay. And how long have you been there, do you think?
Not long.
Okay. Maybe less than a year?
That's right.
And were you renting a room?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how old do you think you were then?
I think I'm older.
Okay.
In my 30s or 40s.
Okay. And how did you happen to want to live there, rent a room there? Did you come from somewhere else, I guess, or what?
Yeah. I think I work in someone else's house.
Okay. And what do you do in the other person's house?
I'm a nanny.
Okay. Little children, I guess?
Yeah.
And you know how many there are you watch?
3.
3 children, okay. Do you know their names or ages?
The oldest is 8, and the youngest is still a baby.
Okay. And I presume, do you know their last name? The family you work for?
Stanley.
Stanley, okay. Do you know the mister of the house's first name?
Robert.
Okay, Robert. And what's his wife's name that you work for?
Eleanor.
So Robert and Eleanor Stanley. Do you think that's pretty good?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. Now, what does Robert do in Cambridge area?
He works in the steel plant.
Okay.
He owns it.
So he's pretty well off, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it a big house?
Yeah, it's big.
Okay. So it's a nice house.
Yes, it's very nicely decorated.
Okay. Now, the steel company that Robert works for, can you see the name of it?
It starts with a B, but I can't see the rest.
Okay. Do you think it's 2 syllables or 1?
I think it's 2.
Okay. So he owns the steel company, but he didn't name it after himself, I guess.
He, I think, inherited it from someone else.
Okay. And does it employ a lot of people?
Yeah.
So it's a pretty well-known steel company.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do they do? What do they make with that steel? Do they do a lot of different things, or do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. But you think it starts with a B. Can you see the next letter in the word?
U.
So it's a B-U. And what's after that?
C.
Okay.
I can't see the rest.
So it's a B-U-C. Okay. And how long have you worked for this? What was her last name again?
Stanley.
Okay. And how long have you worked there?
Less than a year.
So you took the job and then moved, I forgot, what was the name of the street again you moved to?
Cadbury Street.
Okay. So you moved there to take this job, is that correct?
Yeah, a friend of mine told me about it.
Okay. So you got a good job in a rich, a prominent family in the Boston area.
That's right.
Okay. And you think you're in your 30s, maybe?
Yeah, my 30s or 40s.
Okay. Well, and what color is your hair now?
It's dark. It's brown of some shade.
Okay. And your name is Liza, is that right?
Yeah, Liza.
Do you have a middle name?
I think it was Marie.
So you're pretty sure Liza Marie. And what was your last name again?
Thompson.
Liza Marie Thompson. Okay. And did you come from another nanny job in Boston, or did you come from out of state or out of city?
I don't remember.
Okay. But this was one of your best jobs, you think, in that life. Is that correct? Or did you have other neat lives or neat jobs?
I liked those kids.
Okay. They were fun?
They were smart. They were well behaved.
Okay. Do you remember the age or the name of the 8-year-old?
Prudence.
So it was a daughter named Prudence. Did she have a middle name, you think?
I don't know what her middle name is.
Okay. But her last name was Stanley, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you look at that beautiful house, let's say you're standing outside now looking at it right before you walk in to go to work one day. What street is that on? Where your job was?
Starts with an S. It's the name of a tree.
Like Sycamore, maybe? Or it wasn't Sequoia, that's too big.
I think it was sycamore. Sycamore.
Okay, but you're sure it was an S with a tree.
Tree. Name of a tree.
Now, when you look at the door, what was the house number? You remember?
118.
118, and when you think about it now and let it just soak in, Sycamore seems like the name of that street. Is that right?
I think so.
Or it could have been Cedar. Maybe you're thinking an S with a C.
No, I think it was an S. Sycamore sounds right.
Okay. And how far from the boarding house was that, roughly? where you live?
A trolley ride away.
Okay. So was it trolley, I don't know, mile maybe, half a mile?
Oh, not that far.
Okay, so it wasn't that far of a ride on trolley. Do you remember what they charged for a trolley ride to the house?
Just 2 coins.
2 coins, okay. Were those pennies or what were those?
5 cent and a penny, I think.
So maybe like a nickel and a penny for 6 cents?
Something like that.
So,
7 cents or
okay,
6
so it was pretty reasonable. Or that seemed like a lot of money back then.
I made a good amount of money working for that family.
So you really were doing pretty well at that age, weren't you?
Well, I didn't have any kids either, so I only had my own expenses to worry about.
Okay. Do you remember that house on Cadbury? What did they charge you for boarding? Do you remember? Was it by the month?
Yeah, it was a monthly.
Okay. And do you remember how much that was roughly?
I think it was... I think it was some amount, 70 something a month.
So was it a pretty nice boarding house for 70 a month?
It was big, yeah.
Okay. Did you have a nice room in there, or was it a?
Yeah, it was nice.
Okay.
But that man was always there, that ghost.
So did you see him regularly?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you have the ability to see ghosts back then or not?
I could see him.
Okay. And you were not a ghost, is that correct?
No.
Okay. But you knew it was him. Was he a nice ghost or what?
I think he was lonely.
Okay. And you were able to see him. Did other people ever see him, or you don't know?
No, they didn't see him, but sometimes they'd hear him.
Okay. And how big was this boarding house? How many rooms did they rent out? Do you remember?
It was 4 stories tall.
Wow. So it was nice size.
Yes.
Do you remember what the outside looked like? Was it brick or wood or what?
It was brick.
Okay. But when you look at that man, and what was his name again? Did he ever tell you?
I don't remember his name.
You just knew he was in a fire, and nobody ever knew his name, really. Is that right?
He didn't tell me his name. I never knew it.
Okay. But he did let you know he was in a fire in the house smoking a pipe, maybe. Is that right?
I think so.
Okay. Now, how long did you work for the Stanleys? Do you remember?
Yeah. For 6 years.
Okay. And then what happened? Were the kids too big and they went to school?
No. The money... Something with the money.
Okay.
The stock market or the stocks that he had. His business went bad.
Okay.
He poorly invested, I think. Something foolish in his business plan.
Okay.
Like I said, I think he inherited that. I don't think he knew what to do with that company.
So he might have just just didn't do well in the steel business after a while, huh?
Yeah, I always got the impression that his wife was the one with the real brains and not so much him.
Okay. So after a while they couldn't afford to pay you, is that correct?
Yeah, I think they had to move.
So you think they had to sell their nice house because they couldn't afford to live there anymore?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember would they pay you by the week or by the day or the month?
No, by the week.
Do you remember how much you were getting paid a week starting out? Or when you left?
think it was close to $32 a week when I first started.
Okay, then it went up to what, 50, 55?
Yeah.
So you got paid pretty darn well back then, is that correct?
Yeah, I did. I also knew languages. I spoke French and I spoke Danish. I think it was Danish.
Okay.
So I could charge more because of that.
Okay. Were you teaching the kids French a little bit?
Yeah, I taught the girl French.
Was that the older daughter?
Yeah.
And what was her name again?
Prudence.
Okay, that's her nickname was Prue?
Prue, yeah.
Okay. And she was pretty fun to be with, wasn't she?
She was a really bright little girl.
Did she learn violin or any other things while she was there?
She played piano.
Okay. So she was a bright, talented, nice young girl.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you left, she was what, around 14, roughly?
Yes.
Okay. And was she sorry to see you go since you'd become friends, I guess, with her?
She was sad.
Okay. And how was Mr. Stanley handling this? Did he seem very edgy, and how was he when the business started failing?
I think he was cheating on his wife.
Okay, so you think he was cheating on his wife? Okay. Now I want you to go forward. In that life, you were around, what, 35, 40 something when you left?
I think I was 45.
Okay. I want you to go forward to your 55. Do you see yourself now?
Yeah.
Okay. And where were you working then? Do you remember?
I work in a store for women's clothes.
Okay.
A dressmaking shop.
Okay. Were you still at your boarding house?
No.
Okay, and where did you move to?
I moved in with my friend.
Okay. Because it was least expensive, or you just wanted to...
She was not married and neither was I.
Okay. Was it, do you see where your apartment was or where you lived?
We had a cottage.
Oh, okay. Did you have pets?
No, but there was a cat that used to come around and sometimes she would feed it.
And when you look at that cottage, can you describe it on the outside to me? What color was it?
It was made out of stone.
Out of stone? Okay. Do you remember what street that cottage was on?
No, it wasn't really on a street. It was the house for another estate. That's just the cottage.
Oh, okay. Was that another rich family or something?
Yeah, she worked in their kitchen.
Your friend did?
Yeah.
And where did you work?
In the dressmaker shop.
Oh, that's right. And do you remember the name of that shop?
M&K.
M&K?
Yeah.
Was it owned by a husband and wife?
By a woman.
Okay. Now, where in Boston would that be located, you think, that shop? Was that downtown or where?
I don't remember. I wasn't familiar with the city.
Okay. But you were able to take trolleys and stuff, right?
Yeah.
To get around. Okay. And how long did you work at that dress shop?
For about 12 years.
So you worked there pretty long, didn't you?
Yeah.
Now, I want you to go to the end of that time. And I want you to just take your time and describe how you're looking now in that life.
Well, I'm very ill.
I'm sorry to hear that. And do you know what you were ill from? Or what did the doctors think?
They said mumps, but I think it was a fever.
Okay.
A rheumatic fever.
Okay. And that's what it felt like, and you kind of knew that later, is that right?
I knew I was seeing things.
Okay.
And my temperature wasn't normal. I was very sick.
Do you remember what the doctors gave you? They tried to make you better. Do you remember the medicines?
I think I was given penicillin, but I was allergic to it.
Okay. Did that hurt you?
It gave me hives,
Okay.
and my tongue swelled.
Okay. And if it was penicillin, how old were you then? Were you in your late 60s?
I was in my 60s.
Okay. Do you see what hospital you were? Were you in a hospital or just at home?
I was at home.
Okay. And did you get well again or not?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So I want you to just kind of relax and just visualize in your mind why you were feeling sick. And we're just observing that life. Do you see yourself when you passed away? Or how long were you sick for?
Less than 6 months.
Okay, and it just didn't get better, it just got worse.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember how old you were when you passed away?
I think I was 63.
Okay. Does that number sound real to you?
Yeah, 62 or 63. I think I didn't make it to my birthday.
Okay. And when was your birthday? Do you remember?
In the spring, in May.
In May.
I died in April.
Okay, you almost made it, didn't you? What day was your birthday? Do you remember what day in May?
It was May 14th.
May 14th. And do you remember what day you died in April?
I died on the 26th.
So you were pretty close to the birthday, weren't you? A couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Were you trying to stay alive long enough to make your birthday, or were you in too much pain and didn't care?
I think I didn't even know what day it was.
Like you were out of it?
Yeah. I kept seeing the man with the burned face.
Did he come to you when you were almost passing away?
Yeah, I saw him. He sat in the room with me.
To comfort you?
Yeah, but he didn't sit next to me or anything. He just sat there. I guess he just wanted me to know I was not by myself.
Okay. Now, right there while he's sitting in the room, where's your roommate during all this?
Well, she had to work.
So you'd be at home sometimes by yourself, except for this ghost in a chair. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
So he kept you company until she came home.
Yeah, and sometimes he stayed after she was home.
Okay. But your roommate never saw him, is that correct? Or did she sense him, or did you tell her about him?
She saw something, but I don't think she knew what to believe. She didn't
She thought maybe you were hallucinating?
She thought I was hallucinating. She thought my fever had spiked.
Yeah.
But she saw his shape once.
Okay. So she lets you know she saw his shape.
She said she saw something very queer.
Okay. So let's think about this and just, you're all nice and relaxed and we're seeing this room. What did the room look like? Do you remember? The room in that cottage?
There's a window. A big window to my right-hand side.
Okay.
And the bed was in the middle of one wall.
Did you have any pictures on the wall, do you remember?
Picture of my parents from when they were first married. They
What were
were
their names?
their names Clifford and Mary.
And her last name again was?
Their last name was Thompson.
Thompson. Clifford and Mary. Did they live in that area in Boston too most of their lives?
I think they lived outside the city.
Okay. Do you remember when you were younger what your father did for a living?
He was a postman.
Oh, nice. And how many brothers and sisters did you have? Do you remember?
I was an only child.
Okay.
My mother had health problems. She couldn't have other children.
Okay. Now, did your mother work too or not? Or because of her health she couldn't?
No, she didn't work.
Okay. So did your father deliver mail all over that area?
Yeah.
Okay. Was he with them a long time?
Yeah, he worked up until the day he had a heart attack.
Oh. And how many years was he with the Postal Service, do you think, up to that heart attack?
I want to say about 40 years.
So was it with the United States Post Office?
He worked for the government before he worked for the post office.
Okay.
But he worked for the post office for 13, 14 of those years.
Okay. So he took a different job with the government. What did he do with the government before post office?
I think it had to do with taxes.
So he was a pretty smart guy.
He was smart, yeah.
Okay. Well, that sound like a very nice parents. Did you like your parents?
I did.
Good, because they sound like nice people to me. Let's go back and look at Liza while she's there. And we had a wonderful childhood, I presume. Do you remember where you were born?
Mayweather?
Okay, is that outside in Massachusetts?
Yeah. Near the coast, I think.
Okay, did you go down and see the ocean once in a while? Or?
Yeah, I remember it as a child.
Okay, did you take trips there? They take you
Not
to the beach?
often, but yes.
Okay. And how far is Mayweather, do you think, from the ocean? Did you ever know?
I don't know, maybe 2 hours?
So you were a little bit inland in Boston, where you went to the beach.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were born in Mayweather. Do you remember what shore they like to go to? What city was that near? What was it called?
I don't remember. I was too young.
Okay. So when your mother's health got worse, your trips to the beach went down, I presume.
Yeah, I took care of her.
Okay. So you're the daughter, and you were taking care of your mother in her sickness. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you remember what she had? What her health was? Do you remember? What affected her the most for health?
Her lungs were bad.
Okay. Okay.
I think it was asthma.
Asthma. Okay. Now you told me, give me your birth date again, please.
My birthday was May 14th.
Okay. And what year was that?
Oh, I don't remember.
Okay.
18 something.
Okay. Okay, so it was 18 to something.
1870 something, I think.
So look in your mind and look at those last two digits of that year of 1800.
1876.
Okay, so you were born in like 1876, and you think it was in Mayweather, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, your name was Liza
Mary Thompson.
Thompson. Okay, do you think it was like May 18th, 1876, is that correct?
May 14th.
Sorry, May 14th. Well, I want you to sit there and just kind of think about all this for a moment. And I want to go back to your last moments. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Do you see when you passed away, and you told me it was in April 23rd?
26th.
26th. So April 26th. And what year was that?
1940.
So you're pretty sure it was around 1940?
1940, I don't remember the year.
Okay. That's fine. You weren't there for a while with your sickness, so I'm sure it didn't mean much at the time. Well, let's do this. I want you to sit there and remember those last moments, okay, of your life. All we're doing is observing. You're very relaxed. Describe to me right when you passed away. What happened?
I saw a light. I thought it was coming from the window, but then it wasn't really coming from any one place. It was everywhere. And I remember seeing the man with the burned face, and he was standing over me, and I asked him where we were going. He didn't say anything at first, but then he said, "You'll see when we get there."
Okay.
I don't remember anything after that.
Okay, so you don't, when you see the light, and it's surrounding all you, and the elderly man is there with a burnt face.
He wasn't that old. He would have been mad if you called him elderly.
30s?
No, maybe he was in his 50s.
Okay, but he wasn't what you'd call old.
No.
Okay. But was the whole side of his face burned, or his whole face?
One side, one big side.
Do you remember what he did before he passed away? Can he ever tell you?
No.
Okay. So he didn't share a lot of information with you, but you could see him, and you would ask him things once in a while, but he never really responded. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, when you were in a bright light, and you don't remember where you went, but all of a sudden, did you find yourself eventually somewhere?
No, I just remember.
What do you think happened to you?
Well, I guess I must have gone to heaven, but I don't remember anything about it. I just remember the light and feeling.
The light, and that's all. That's the light. You don't remember what happened after that, or what?
Well, I didn't feel hot anymore.
So your fever was gone.
Yeah, it was kind of cool actually. The weather, or the air, or whatever it was, felt cool.
Okay. Was it when you didn't remember anything? When did what light end for you?
What?
How did when you all of a sudden that he's there and he says, "Wait, and you'll see." You don't remember anything after him saying that,
No.
except your fever was gone.
No, I don't remember.
Okay. Now, did you see yourself coming out of your body when the light came?
No, but I had a floating sensation, but I felt like that before because of my fever.
Okay. So you're not sure where you went.
I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Now let's go forward a little bit more after you forgot or you didn't remember where you went? I don't know. We're not going to look at time. But when did you feel like you were somewhere else, since you weren't in that cottage anymore? When did you realize you were somewhere else?
I don't know.
Okay. So after that, you have no memories of anything?
No.
Do you see, after that, do you see yourself in another life? In other words, a baby, maybe?
I don't know.
Okay. But you do remember light coming down. Did it feel like loving light?
Yeah, I felt comforted.